What you have in the book of Job is, you have a guy who is very devout, he's very religious, he loves God. But here's the thing, he loves because he hasn't been tested. You like me because I haven't really tested you. I haven't challenged you. And when you get tested, when you get challenged, then you reveal your salt. If you're going to come back or you're going to walk away completely. Now, what happens in the case of Job when he is tested, and remember, you can get tested in a variety of different ways by a variety of different people for a variety of different reasons. When a teacher tests you, it's very different than when life tests you. It's always to your advantage to be broken by a teacher than to be broken by life. A teacher has intentions. Life does what it does. Life creates and it destroys, and it creates and it destroys. The only thing life is caring about is creating, destroying, creating again. So what you have in the book of Job is that God really loves Job. But God's love is insufficient because God is blinded by his own love. So what you need for love to be complete is you need Satan. You need this love to be challenged. So Satan comes into play and say, okay, God, I'm going to make Job love you from his soul. Not from his feelings, not from his emotions, not from his intellect, from his soul. But his soul is captured under an avalanche of feelings, emotions, thoughts, beliefs, all that junk. He thinks that just because he sits home with his family and reads the Bible, not that the Bible was written then, but let's just say it was, that all of a sudden they find themselves to be like of the Jewish tradition. So Job has a lot of assumptions about himself. I'm going to create some challenges in his life so that he could be free of those assumptions. Once he's free, then he can truly love you. Now, Job doesn't know any of this. And so Job's kids are butchered, Job's animals are butchered, Job's trees are all cut in pieces. Job gets physically sick, and Job says, I want to die. Life is not worth living. Now, one of the things you need to understand that's not in this tradition, you must accept whatever comes to you from your teacher, whether he gives you poison or whether he gives you honey. Your task as a student is to accept without any complaints. And if you have any complaints, keep them into your own self. Don't whisper them into any ears. Now, what Job does, he only likes good things from God, not bad things. Why? Well, if I've been serving God, I don't deserve to be punished. If I do what God says, I don't deserve to be punished. Why is God punishing me? Now, Mrs. Job comes to him once in a while and says, how could you worship such a God? There is a story about Larpa. It's about this young kid who goes somewhere in Asia or Far East and works with a teacher. And this particular teacher is really, really quite mean. Hits this student, says all these profanities to the student. And at one point, the wife goes to the kid and says, I can't stand my husband. And he's not even that mean to me. But I have seen you with him for the past all these years. He hits you with a broom, he slaps you, he kicks you, he punches you. Every night you go home bloodied. Why do you do this? I love him. And that's the thing. Now Job accepts the honey, but the thorns, he says no. And at this stage in his life, thorns are more than honey. Negativities are far too great than the positivities. And so instead of saying, God gives and God taketh, I don't know why God does any of this stuff, but I will accept fully. It shows that there are some very, very important components missing in his passion or love for God, to the point where he wants to die. And it's beautiful poetry when you read the book. It really is just absolutely incredible. I want the earth to open up and swallow me. I want to once again go back into the darkness. You would just rather not exist. And his friends come to kind of calm him. It's like when things are going bad for you, your friends knock on your door and say, don't be so sad. Life will turn around for you. It's like that saying in Hafiz, دور گردون چون دو روزی بر مراد ما نرفت دائما یکسان نماند چرخ گردون غم مخور. That even though life hasn't really ever gone in your favor, in your way, it doesn't mean it's always going to stay this way. Eventually, the wheel of life will turn in a way that will please you, benefit you. But Job doesn't have the patience, and that's one of the things you need to understand. When pain comes to you, you don't have the ability to detach yourself from the emotion. and stand outside and observe it, take notes on it, pay attention to it. It doesn't work that way. Once you're in the grips of an emotion, it has you. And you have to wait and wait and wait. It's kind of like grief. You have to kind of just wait until it just passes. And Job had to wait and wait and wait. And he cursed God. He challenged God. He said, if I have sinned, if I have made any grave mistakes in my life, show me. Show me, tell me what I've done to be deserving of this. Now, he doesn't know what's coming to him, which is if you're able to kind of survive the misery in which you are, the fruit, your reward is you understand the nature of life. That life doesn't care for you. Nobody cares for you. You are living in this existence all alone. There is no stability to anything, except how you and you alone can be aware of your emotions and how you and you alone want to direct or redirect them. But it took Satan, it took God, it took both of them to come together. It took the butchering of his kids, of his animals, of his trees. It took despair, longing, profanities, loneliness, depression. He went through all of that stuff, and in the end, he understood.